So that leaves me without my main reason of believing that there exists a non-physical reality. My second claim to the non-physical is causality, and that I haven't seemed to refute it yet, but I don't know. I wanted to, though, because I thought that, well, the two are really related, at least in my worldview. And so this is going to turn into two videos, and sorry for that, but don't watch if you're not interested. So I wanted to tackle this other question of mine, or this other argument of mine, to say that there exists causality, that causality can only exist in terms of laws that prescribe the behavior of matter. Then that these laws themselves then therefore cannot be matter, they must be of a form that is superior to matter. Matter is its subordinate. And therein we could at least say that, see, there's the non-physical, because there's causality. The reason the theist likes that argument, such as I did, is that then you say, well, consider the human conceptualization of things, that we can understand what exists and what does not exist. And it is such a fundamental question to ask, why do things exist and why do things not exist? You know, not only what is the criterion between the two, or the theist would say is God, but why was that separation made? The theist attempt to explain this would be that God is sitting in front of a large vat of possibilities, an infinite vat of possibilities, and God, being God, can select and manifest any of these possibilities. Similar to how humans think, where we ask a question, we say, how does this work? When we say that, we have conceptualized two competing possibilities. And we know that one of them is true and the other is not. We just don't know which is which. From that, the theist, or at least me anyway, could consider God in that similar extent, or in that similar fashion, but with a much greater amount of possibilities. Where he says, well, there's this way and there's this way, and I can conceptualize it that way and that way and that way and that way. But I'm going to pick this one, and that's what will exist. I shall decide that. And so that's where it all, I mean, that's cosmology, or the theist cosmology, to a T, that God decided what exists and what doesn't exist. But there's a problem. There's a problem with that. And this refutation is more in line with what I'm familiar with. When science comes into play, stuff, you know, like what I was talking about earlier, that can trip me up because I don't know enough about it. But this one we can address in purely dialectic terms. A decision can only exist if there exists a problem. For example, if you're hungry, then you have to decide what to do about it. If there is no problem, there is no decision to be made. To say that God decided to create the universe is to imply that God needed to create the universe. To imply necessity or need is to imply a problem, and if God pre-existed everything, then he would pre-exist anything that would give him necessity or anything that would give him a problem. Do you see where I'm getting at here? If God pre-existed everything, there is no problem. There is no decision to be made. There is no crossroads. Now, one idea I've heard is that God, in his infinite potential, needs to then express that full potential. But there we see necessity, being that he needs to express his potential, and there is nothing about being of infinite potential that would necessitate expressing it. There's nothing there. That's just a claim. That's just a bold face because I said so kind of statement. even if it was true, say that God was kind of like the teenager art student that just says, I just got to express myself. That would be because God operates by a kind of standard of reality that he is not superior to. In which case, you would have to ask, well, where did that criterion come from? And you're left with the very same problem all over again. Because the problems in logic are not scale, but relationship. Relationship here. So if God is the art student, the teenage art student that just needed to express himself, then what created the criterion by which that would make God of that particular nature, you see? Because of complete and utter and total unabidedness, there is no decision to be made about creating. So, say the universe was still created. Let's run this through to the end. What do we got? We then have creation without decision. What? What is that? What is that? What is creation without decision? Creation without decision. And creation without criterion, because remember, we're God. We are the criterion. We say what goes. You got creation without decision. And then I started thinking about randomness. Randomness is the existence of something, or the creation of something accountable to nothing. And maybe that's it then. Maybe the universe was created, but created randomly. But randomness is goofy in that, I don't know, it's just that it creates in regards to nothing. It just creates. It's for that reason that I consider, like, whenever I might take notes and refer to randomness, I have a shorthand for it. FM, for fucking magic, because that's what it is. To say that something is purely random is to say that something was created without accountability at all. No accountability, just boom, it's there. You could not get a more articulate definition of fairy tale magic than that. FM. So perhaps the universe was not created, if that's all we're left with. If we are to believe that it was created by God without deciding to create it, he created it randomly, because that would be creation without decision. Then we say the universe was created by magic. The universe was created by FM. Or we are to believe that the universe was not created, and that the necessity for infinity to understand any philosophical view is best subscribed to the physical universe and nothing in appendage. So I'm right now in a philosophic purgatory. I don't know what I am, so I don't claim any titles at this point. I'm just a philosopher. So, from your friendly neighborhood philosopher, have a lovely day.